In this tutorial, I'm going to go over how to use and animate basic shapes in After Effects. Now, we've already seen that we can import files from Illustrator and Photoshop if you're more comfortable creating in those formats, but there are some advantages to creating your shapes in After Effects because there's a bunch of tools we can use to animate them in interesting ways. So to start out, I have my main composition. It is blank. I have nothing on the timeline yet. I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer, and specifically a new shape layer. I'm doing it this way because I'm going to want everything just to be at the same point. So I could, of course, go ahead and draw a shape and make a shape layer, but where that goes is kind of random. So I just draw a shape, it's there, but the anchor point is over here, and so its position is odd. And it's kind of easier when we're starting to work with shapes to go to a layer, new shape layer. And then we don't have a shape yet, but if we open up the shape layer, we can click add, and then we can go ahead and add something like a star, and then it comes in right at the center. And so I'm going to combine a few different shapes together to make a more complex shape, and so it's really helpful just to be at that origin point. So I'm going to click here, and I'm just going to make the star have 10 points, because again, I'm going to make a cog, and I'm going to make the outer radius just a little bit bigger here. Maybe we'll say 120. And then I also want to give this a fill, so I'm going to click the add button again to add a fill. And that fill is fine, but you can, of course, also change the color here if you wanted to, and then close this back up. I'm going to close this back up too, and then I'm going to make sure that nothing is selected here, because right now my fill is selected. I want nothing selected, and then I'm going to go ahead and click add again, and this time I'm going to add an ellipse. Open this up and make it a little bit bigger, and I'm just going to eyeball this one, so I'm just clicking and dragging. Okay, that looks good, and now that I have two shapes, I want to deselect everything and then add a merge paths. And then this is going to let me add or subtract or intersect these two paths, so I then have a kind of asterisk shape. And the reason that I always want to unselect stuff before I click add is because if I don't, and then I add a merge pass, or maybe even I add an ellipse, right, it may or may not come in where I want it to. So if I now went ahead and added a merge pass, so far so good, but sometimes what will happen is it'll end up showing up inside of the shape. So I have the first part of my star here, and then I have a merge path, and then I've moved my second ellipse down below the merge path 1. And I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. And then I've already created my second merge path, and I just want this to be add. So now we can see that I have my basic cog shape here. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to add one more ellipse, again with nothing selected. I'm going to move it below that merge path. And then I am going to go ahead and add another merge pass, but this time make it below that ellipse and make it a subtract. So now what we have is a cog with a hole in the middle, and so I've created a complex shape, and the way that I've done this is very particular because I need the order here to be correct. I need the first two shapes with an intersect, and then need the next shape with an add, and then the next shape with a subtract. If I change the order of any of those, I will not get what I need. Now once I have all of this, I can go ahead and I can transform some of these paths individually. For example, I can rotate the star, or I can come and transform the entire contents here, and which is what I want to do here, and then I can perhaps add a rotation. So I now have my rotation keyframe, and I can come to the end of my work area here, and I'll make this rotate 3 times. So then what's going to happen is the whole contents of this shape layer are going to rotate, and so I now have a rotating shape layer. Now I can also go ahead and create other shape layers that have other movements, and I'm going to go ahead and have different shapes moving in the single shape layer in the next video.